Hello all, it's Dr. B again. Here is your Exam 3 review. So I'll go over some of the key things on this and then show you a couple of the types of questions you might see. Hint, hint. Um, Obviously the items in red are worth more points and will probably be a little bit of a longer answer. So you definitely want to know those. So generally enzymes, obviously not a secret. Know what their purpose is, what they do in the reaction, their role, which is important. They're not really part of the reaction itself. They just kind of help the reaction to work the best way it can. And then about things that would affect their function, pH, temperature, salt concentration, things like that. Moving down the list, obviously cell respiration is a larger topic. You definitely want to make sure you watch the Edpuzzle videos I made on the 3 stages. And just generally be aware of like what goes in, what comes out, especially the numbers of ATP and CO2 that are made and or released at each stage. However, you do not need to know the specific numbers of FADs and NADs that are released at any given stage. I really just want you to know kind of what they are, what their role is. Moving down the list, obviously DNA. And the part in red there, you're going to have a question where I'm going to give you a DNA strand. You're going to basically transcribe it into RNA, then translate it into an amino acid. I had an Edpuzzle on that as well, and I will have a codon chart on the exam for you, so you will be able to see that. Obviously, operons, moving down the list, not read in, but definitely a few points on those. Know the purpose of what they are, kind of how they work. Obviously, it's bacteria's control mechanism for the production of genes that doesn't need all the time, inducible genes. And again, down the list, we have pretty much everything else. Methods of bacterial control, antiseptic, disinfectant, sterilization, things like that. There are several multiple choices that have those terms in the answer. So you definitely want to have a good idea about those. All right, let me show you a couple exam questions. I really like this question. Obviously, pause it before I speak if you want to take a shot at it. But basically, I like this because it really can just say the breakdown of, Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck is an example of, it doesn't really matter that you're not supposed to necessarily know it, peptidoglycan to N-acetyl muramic acid and N-acetylglycosamine and peptides is an example of. It's just the breakdown of any of these things. So obviously that should help in your answer to this particular question. Let's move to another one. This is one example of the cell respiration questions. You can see here very straightforward. How many CO2s are produced by the complete breakdown of one glucose molecule? So I like that one. You're also going to see a few questions like this that have to do with like all the following steps. So obviously one of these that does not pertain to transcription, which is DNA being the code for the production of RNA. And let me show you one more. So on this exam, you can have a piece of paper and a pencil, but only, or something to write with, but only for questions 51 and 53. The video, by the way, is going to allow the idea of looking down and drawing and whatnot. On 51 and 53, I can set contingency stuff. So you don't want to have be writing anything except for 51 and 53 because it both requires writing. 51 is potentially, 53 is also potentially. So if you want to draw out this for those two questions, not a problem. It knows during the video when you're on, what question you're on. So that, please don't have me to go in and, answer all the alerts it's going to give me if you don't. 51 and 53. So, and again, it'll say in the question that basically you can write it out if you want, and that's how you'll know. All right, so this is one of the ones where you can use a piece of paper if you need it. And what you don't see here is the DNA strand. This is below is a DNA strand that you can't see. It's below there. It's a 5' to 3' DNA strand. And basically, you're going to take the DNA, you're going to transcribe it directly to RNA, and then you're going to translate it to protein, and that is how it's going to work. Actually, by the way, yeah, the DNA I have is starts at 3'. My bad on that. which should help. So obviously from left to right, it's 3' DNA to 5' DNA. So that should be pretty straightforward and easy. So again, it's being able to use this codon chart to figure out the DNA and then the RNA and then subsequently which amino acids there will be. And so you will be putting in your answer key, the RNA, and then also the amino acid sequence. So that is it. Alrighty. So I know your exam is not till next week. If any of you have any questions, I'd be happy to help. Let me know. Bye.